Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Okay. Now it's 1 o'clock, so let's start our class. Okay. Um, I just sharing the screen. Last time we talked about the currency market, right? Okay. We talk about the nominal exchange rate. Okay. So as you know, we have E like this for nominal exchange rate. Okay. Nominal exchange rate is about if I have 1 unit of domestic currency, like 1 baht. If I have 1 baht, how many of the foreign currency I gonna get? Okay. For example, I have 1 baht, how many US dollar I gonna get? So this is the meaning of nominal exchange rate. Okay. Nominal exchange rate is about to exchange the currency from our currency to the foreign currency. Okay. Baht and US dollar, Thai baht and Chinese yuan, or Thai baht and the Japanese yen, whatever. Okay. So the nominal exchange rate is going to be about the to exchange the currency. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about, okay, epsilon. Okay, this one. Okay. We call it as a epsilon. Epsilon is going to stand for real exchange rate. Okay. So it's different. Be careful because it's different. We have nominal exchange rate, but today we're going to talk about real exchange rate. What is all about? Okay. The nominal exchange rate is about the currency. Okay. Nominal exchange rate is about currency. Thai baht and US dollar, for example. However, for the real exchange rate, it's about price. Okay. It's about price comparison. Okay. It's about price comparison. We just want to compare the price. Okay. We just want to compare the price between domestic price. Okay, domestic price and the foreign price of some specific goods. Okay, we just want to know. Okay, we just want to know. When we focus on some product, we just want to know whether that product, okay, in our country compared to the same product in the other country, which one, okay, is cheaper, which one is more expensive. Okay, so it's just about price comparison for the real exchange rate. Okay, so let's going more into the mathematic formula. Okay, so before we go, okay, I'm gonna assume that for the domestic price, I'm gonna use just a P. Okay, P, this one stands for domestic price. If I write down as a P star, okay, this one means the foreign price. Okay, so the nominal exchange rate for the mathematic formula, epsilon is gonna be equal to domestic price, P, okay, and divide by P star. Okay, P and P star. We just want to compare it together between domestic price and foreign price. So we just put P divided by P star. However, for the domestic price, the unit of the price, okay, in the domestic in our country, the price is gonna be displayed in Thai baht. However, for the foreign price, okay, they usually display in US dollar, right? Okay. So when you want to compare the price between two countries together, okay, the unit is different. Okay, domestic price is in Thai baht unit. The foreign price is gonna be in US dollar unit. So it means that you cannot compare it together, okay, directly. You need to convert the price of Thai baht to the same unit to US dollar. In order to do that, you need to multiply the price, the domestic price in Thai baht with the nominal exchange rate first. Okay, if you multiply it by nominal exchange rate, you can, okay, change the unit from Thai baht to US dollar. Okay, because the price in our country is showing in Thai baht. For the nominal exchange rate, it's showing that 1 baht equal to how many US dollar. When you multiply domestic price with the nominal exchange rate, you transform, okay, domestic price from Thai baht to US dollar. So in the end, we can say that the real interest rate is equal to P domestic price multiplied by E nominal exchange rate, and divide by P star. This is a mathematical formula for the real exchange rate. Okay. So to give you more understanding on this, let me give you some example. Okay, let me give you some example. Okay, for example, I have like a hamburger Big Mac. Okay, Big Mac, hamburger Big Mac. Okay, in Thailand, okay, Big Mac. This is just example. Okay, in Thailand, Big Mac is like 180 baht. However, in USA, okay, in USA, the P star, the price of Big Mac, okay, maybe $5 US dollar. Okay, so I assuming that, okay, this is the price of Big Mac. I assuming that right now, okay, $1 US equal to 30 baht. This is just assumption, okay? $1 US equal to 30 baht. If you divide 30 on both sides, you can find that 1 baht equal to 0.033 US dollar. So it means that the nominal exchange rate equal to 0.033 in this case. Okay, so this is all I want. Okay, this is just assumption. Okay, and then they're gonna give you the example. Okay, the real exchange rate comes from this formula: epsilon equal to P multiplied by nominal exchange rate, and divide by P star. This is a formula. Okay, for the real exchange rate. Okay, so let me showing you 3 cases. Okay, let me show you 3 cases. Okay, case number 1. Okay, I use the price of Big Mac in Thailand, which is 180. Okay, I put into the formula. What I get is the price of Big Mac in Thailand is 180 baht. Okay, the Big Mac in USA is like $5 US. You can see that if we put the price of Big Mac in Thailand and the price of Big Mac in USA together, you cannot doing mathematics because the unit is different. 180 is in the unit of Thai baht. 5 is the unit of US dollar. So you need to multiply Thai baht with nominal exchange rate, which is equal to 0.033, okay, like this. When you multiply domestic price with the nominal exchange rate, then you get, okay, the other line, the real exchange rate equal to 0.033 multiplied by 180, you get $6 US. Now the unit become the same. The Big Mac in Thailand is $6. Okay, the Big Mac in USA is $5. So you see that the Big Mac in Thailand is more expensive. Okay, when you divide 6 by 5, okay, you got the real exchange rate equal to 1.2. This is what you have, and what you can learn from here is every time when the real exchange rate is greater than 1, it means that the product in our country, okay, the product in our country, okay, is more expensive. Okay, the product in Thailand is more, okay, expensive than in USA. See that? Okay, so, okay, this is the first example. Next one, let me try to change the number. Real exchange rate now, right now, okay, let me change the number a little bit, okay, from the Big Mac in Thailand equal to 180. Right now, assume that the Big Mac in Thailand is just 100 baht. Okay, Big Mac in Thailand is just 100 baht. The Big Mac in USA still the same. Okay, the Big Mac in USA still the same. 5 US dollar. Okay, and then you can see that the unit is different. I multiply 100 baht with the nominal exchange at 0.033. So what I get is I got 3.33 US dollar divided by 5 US dollar. So 100 baht, okay, is actually equal to $3, $3.33. So you can see that in this case, the Big Mac in Thailand is cheaper than in USA, right? When you divide 3.33 by 5, you found that the real exchange rate is just equal to 0.666. And here, what you can learn is every time when the real exchange rate is less than 1, every time when the real exchange rate is less than 1, it means that the product in our country, Thailand, is cheaper than in USA. You got it? Okay. Next one, okay? Next one, okay? The other example. Let me change the price of Big Mac in Thailand again. Right now, the Big Mac in Thailand is 150 baht. In USA, it's the same, $5. Okay. So 150 baht, if I want to transform into US dollar, I just need to multiply by nominal exchange rate. Okay, 0.033. What I get is I get $5 over $5. 150 baht equal to $5. And $5 of the Big Mac in Thailand have the same price with a $5 of Big Mac in USA. So you can see that the real exchange rate equal to 1. You see that? So every time when the real exchange rate equal to 1, it means that the price in Thailand and the price in USA is gonna be the same price. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so this is the meaning of the real exchange rate. Okay, this is the meaning of the real exchange rate. Let me give you conclusion. Okay, the epsilon, this guy, is the real exchange rate. Okay, it's a real exchange rate. If epsilon equal to 1, what does it mean? If epsilon equal to 1, it means that domestic price, the price in our country, okay, equal to the foreign price. Okay, the price of the other country. So if the price is the same, okay, we don't need to import, we don't need to export, right? Okay, because the price is the same, we don't need to buy the product from the other country. The other country don't need to buy the product from us. So no export, no import, okay? Which means the trade balance always equal to 0. Okay, no export, no import, because the price is the same. Okay. On the other hand, if the real exchange rate is greater than 1, like this, it implies that the domestic price is actually more expensive, higher than foreign price. Okay. When the product in our country is become more expensive, what does it mean? Okay, it means that the product in the other country is cheaper, right? We're gonna buy more product from the other country. We're gonna import more, right? And since the product in our country is very expensive, nobody want to buy the product from us. Export is gonna be low. Together, it means that net export is gonna be low in this case. Okay. On the other hand, if the real exchange rate is less than 1, what does it mean? If real exchange rate is less than 1, it means that the product in our country, okay, domestic price is cheaper than foreign price. Okay, so if a product in our country is cheaper, what does it mean? Okay, it means we can export more. Everyone want to buy the product from us. Okay, if the foreign price is very expensive, we don't want to buy the product from the other country. We're gonna import less. Then it's good to our trade balance. The net export gonna be very high. Okay, done. Okay, this is the conclusion for the real exchange rate. Okay, next one, we use this knowledge, okay, to drawing the graph. Okay, the graph is gonna be look like this. On the vertical is gonna be epsilon for the real exchange rate. In the middle of the horizontal curve is 0. Okay, and then on the horizontal axis is NX, net export, which is come from export minus import. So you can see that, okay, on the right area is a positive of NX, on the left area is a negative of NX. Okay, and from here, from what you learn from the meaning of epsilon, real exchange rate, we normally compare the real exchange rate with number 1. Okay, so the graph is going to be look like this. Is a graph of NX. Okay, and x is going to be equal to 0 here if it's intersect with the vertical axis here. This is, let's say, point A. Okay, point A, epsilon is a vertical. Okay, epsilon equal to 1. If epsilon equal to 1, and x is going to be equal to 0. Okay, point B, for example, here. Okay, point B. Every time when epsilon is greater than 1, what does it mean? Every time when epsilon greater than 1, it means that the product in our country is more expensive. We're gonna export less and import more. Trading balance is gonna be negative, and x is gonna be negative. Okay. On the other hand, okay, point C here, point C, epsilon is less than 1 because it's below point A. This one, the product in our country is cheaper, right? We can export more, import less. Net export is gonna be in the positive area. Okay, so you can see that this graph showing the relationship between net export and the real exchange rate. Okay, and the graph always have a negative slope. Okay, always have a negative slope going down to the right. Okay, going down to the right, always. So to make it easy to drawing the graph, okay, we're gonna focus only in the positive area. Okay, we focus only for the negative area, for the positive area. So I can drawing the graph like this. Okay, this is on the horizontal is an x, on the vertical is a real exchange rate. So I'm gonna cut down only the positive area. I have an x like this, and it's always have a negative slope. Okay, compare between point A and point B. Okay, if the real exchange rate is high, like epsilon 1, the product in our country is more expensive. We gonna our net export is gonna be low. Point B, if our real exchange rate is low, it means that the product in our country is cheaper. We can export more, and x gonna be increasing, going to the right. So this is the behavior of an x, net export, which is depend on the real exchange rate. Okay, so then after we have the nx, as you learned with me before, we have the equation y equal to c plus I plus g plus x minus m. Remember, we solve the equation together, and then we get s minus I equal to x minus m. I told you that s minus I we call it as an NCO, and x minus m we call it as an nx. You already learned how the graph of nx come from. Okay, we have nx over here. So now we need to drawing the graph of NCO. Okay, you already have nx. Right now we need NCO. Drawing the graph like here. On the horizontal, okay, you have NCO, which is come from saving minus investment. On the vertical, you have the real exchange rate. Okay, the graph of NCO is always be a vertical. Okay, this is NCO come from S minus I, always be a vertical. They have a vertical like this because if you mark it down, point A and point B, this is NCO1. Even though the real exchange rate is high, or even though the real exchange rate is low, okay, the real exchange rate is gonna be high or it's gonna be low, they have no effects on NCO. The net capital outflow still the same. Okay, so the vertical curve like this is mean that real exchange rate have no effects on net capital outflow. Okay, so after we have an X curve and NCO curve, we just simply bring it together. Okay, we just simply bring it together. So you're gonna have the graph like this. On the vertical is real exchange rate. On the horizontal, you have NX and NCO together. Okay, a vertical curve like this is NCO, which is come from S minus I, and then you have the negative slope of NX, which is come from X minus M. The place that the location that two curves intersect to each other, we call it as an equilibrium point. Then you can find the equilibrium of the real exchange rate. And at the equilibrium point, Nx is going to be equal to NCO. Okay, so this is going to be the same story with the equation that we learned before. That is y equal to c plus I plus g plus x minus m. And then remember, we solved the equation together. We got s minus I equal to x minus m. And x minus I is NCO, x minus n is NX. And as I told you before, it's going to be the case of positive equal to positive and negative equal to negative. However, in this graph, okay, in this graph is in the positive area. Okay, this one is in the positive, wait. This one is in the positive area because it's on the right side of 0. So we're going to focus on this case. Positive equal to positive, okay? If NCO is positive, NX is going to be positive too. It means that S going to be saving going to be greater than investment, and export is going to be greater than import, okay? If saving greater than investment, what does it mean? People save a lot, people borrow less. We have a lot of money left that nobody want to borrow. We're going to lend the money out. So on the left side of the equation, the money going to flow out. How about on the right? On the right, export is greater than import. We export a lot. We're going to earn a lot of money from the rest of the world. The money going to flow in. You got it? Okay, so we have the case of money flow out equal to money flow in, which is going to be the same point, okay, of equilibrium point here, because equilibrium point E1, okay, NX equal to NCO. Okay, so far so good. Okay, so then, okay, this is what we have. Okay, so we're going to bring what we learned here in this chapter. Okay, we're going to put it together with what you learned in the previous class. Okay, so we're going to have two graphs. Okay, the graph that we learned from the previous class, the graph that's showing currency market. Okay, you have Thai baht, you have nominal exchange rate, how many US dollar you get for 1 baht. Okay, you have demand for Thai baht, you have supply for Thai baht, you have equilibrium point E1, the number of Thai baht in the economy THB1, and nominal exchange rate E1. If nominal exchange rate going up, it means that Thai baht becomes strong. If the nominal exchange rate going down, it means that Thai baht become weak, right? And then you have the graph that's showing the real exchange rate. On the horizontal, you have NX and NCO. On the vertical, you have real exchange rate, epsilon. You have NX, you have NCO. NX come from X minus M, NCO come from S minus I. Okay, you have equilibrium point here. This is NX1 equal to NCO1, and the real exchange rate at the equilibrium point epsilon 1. Okay, as I mentioned before in the previous slide, the case that positive equal to positive, okay, NCO equal to positive is mean that they have the money flow out, and is positive is mean that the money flow in. When the money flow out, you need to sell Thai baht. When the money flow in, you need to buy Thai baht. So what we can say that supply for Thai baht, okay, supply for Thai baht is actually represent NCO, the money that flow out. Demand for Thai baht is actually represent NX, okay, because the money gonna flow in, okay. So what we have two graphs like this, okay, represent, okay, the vertical axis of both graphs represent nominal exchange rate together with the real exchange rate, okay. So I'm gonna copy this one and paste it for 4 more, for 3 more, okay, because we're gonna do, wait, we're gonna do 3 more cases together. Okay, done. So first, Starting with case number 1. Okay. Starting with case number 1, I'm going to use the case that we learned before. Okay. I'm going to use the case that we learned before from the previous class. Okay. Case number 1, if we have a deficit, okay, fiscal policy at home. At home mean using by our country. Okay. Deficit fiscal policy at home. Try to do the opposite case by yourself. Okay. Try to do the various case by yourself. Okay. Deficit fiscal policy at home. Our country using deficit fiscal policy. So how it's going to be? When you're using deficit fiscal policy, it means that the government going to spend more. And the government going to help people by tax less. Right? We talk about this many times. You should know that. Okay. When you use deficit fiscal policy, the government spend more and tax less. The consequence of this policy is the saving for the whole country will be reducing. The saving for the whole country will be reducing. Okay. Where is saving in the graph? If saving reducing, it means that NCO is going to be reducing too. Okay. So because of this policy, saving for the whole country reducing, the net capital outflow going to be reducing, or we can say that it's going to shift to the left. Like this is like NCO2, shift to the left. And then equilibrium point change from E1 to E2, okay. Let's say this is S1, NCO2 equal to S2 minus I. I noted here that S2 is less than S1. Okay. And then equilibrium point change after NCO shift to the left. What happens? What happens? Okay, you can see that real exchange rate going up. Real exchange rate going up is mean that everything in our country become more expensive. Everything in our country become more expensive. When everything in our country become more expensive, what does it mean? We can export less, and right? Yeah, and we're gonna import more. This is bad for NX. NX is gonna be reducing, right? That's why NCO reducing. Same thing, NX also going to the left, reducing too. NCO going to the left. Same thing with NX gonna go into the left. Okay. And if you're looking at the graph on the left, okay, when NCO reducing, it means that the money gonna flow out of the country less than before. When the money flow out less than before, supply for Thai baht also shift to the left. This is supply for Thai baht of NCO2. Okay. So the equilibrium point in the currency market change, also change. Okay, from E1 to E2, the number of Thai baht in the economy reducing, and then the nominal exchange rate increasing. You can see that two graphs confirm each other. Okay, real exchange rate going up. Same way, nominal exchange rate also going up. Everything in our country become more expensive, and it's confirming by the nominal exchange rate that our Thai baht become strong. Okay, our Thai baht becomes strong. And as you learned from last class, when our currency becomes stronger, everything in our country will be more expensive. So it's going to be support each other on this logic. Okay, so also good. Okay, nominal exchange rate and real exchange rate always going in the same direction, and it's confirm each other. Okay, done for this case. Again, try to do the opposite case by yourself at home. For example, if they use the surplus of the fiscal policy, how it's going to be. Okay, going to the second case. This is case number 2. Okay, this one, same thing. I bring it from the previous class. This is deficit fiscal policy at a board. At a board means it using by other country. Okay, if you still remember, other country, when other country using deficit fiscal policy, what does it mean? It means that other country gonna spend more, their government gonna spend more and tax less. By doing that, the saving for the whole world gonna be reducing. Okay, I will not going into the detail because this one you already learned. Okay, saving for the whole world reducing, and the real interest rate for the whole world gonna be increasing. Okay, the interest rate for the whole world going to be, the real interest rate for the whole world going to be increasing. And because of this, it's going to have the effects on our country, right? Because of this, in our country, when the real estate of the world increasing, we are open economy country. We need to follow the real interest rate of the world. Okay, when the real interest rate of the world increasing our country, we're going to save more and invest less. And this one affect directly on NCO. Let's say we have NCO1 equal to S1 minus I1. Saving, increasing, investment, decreasing is going to make NCO to become increasing. Okay. If NCO increasing, the NCO curve going to shift to the right, become NCO2. Wait, what happened? I cannot do anything. Okay, it's become, wait. Wait a minute, my iPad is not good. Okay, it's come back. Okay, it's become NCO2 equal to S2 minus I2. Okay, and S2 is greater than S1, I2 is less than I1. Note it down. Okay, NCO increasing, equilibrium point change from E1 to E2. Okay, the real exchange rate going down from epsilon 1 to epsilon 2. What does it mean? Real exchange rate going down, it means that everything in our country is cheaper than other country, right? When everything in our country becomes cheaper, we can export more. We're gonna import less. NX become increasing. So that's why NX and NCO increasing together to the right. Okay, increasing together to the right. Okay. And then not only that, if you're looking at the graph on the left, when NCO increasing, what does it mean? When NCO increasing, it means that we're gonna have more money flow out to the other from our country. When the money flow out more, it means that they need to sell more Thai baht. So then supply for Thai baht gonna shift to the right. This is NCO2, okay? Equilibrium point gonna change from E1 to E2. We're gonna have more Thai baht in the market. And in the end, okay, the nominal exchange rate going down. When the nominal exchange rate going down, what it means? It means the Thai baht become weak. And Thai baht become weak, and everything in our country become cheaper compared to the other country. It's support each other, confirm each other, right? Okay. So nominal exchange rate and real exchange rate always going in the same direction. Okay. So far so good. Okay. Next one. Okay. Case number 4. Oh no, sorry. Case number 3. Okay. Case number 3. This is about increasing in investment demand. Okay, increasing in investment demands. Okay, increasing in investment demand. This is for the business sector. They want to invest more. they want to borrow more, right? Investment is here. When investment increasing, let's say I1, NCO is going to be going down. We're going to have less money left to lend it to the other country, okay? NCO is going to be going down. When NCO going down, what does it mean? NCO curve is going to shift to the left. This is NCO2, which is equal to S minus I2. Notice here that I2 is less than, I2 is greater than I1. Okay, equilibrium point change from E1 going up to E2. Okay, real exchange rate going up, right? Real exchange rate going up. If real exchange rate going up, what does it mean? Everything in our country become more expensive, right? When everything in our country become more expensive, we're gonna export less and import more. Net export become bad, okay, going down. That's why, okay, NCO going down together with NX also going down. That's why NX and NCO going together to the left. Okay, and then we move to the left. Okay, when NCO going down, the money flow out less than before. So it means that we need to sell less of the Thai baht. Supply gonna shift to the left. Okay, because NCO reducing, supply for Thai baht will be reducing. Okay, equilibrium point move from E1 to E2. We have less Thai baht in the economy. Nominal exchange rate going up. Nominal exchange rate going up is mean that Thai baht becomes stronger. Okay, and as I taught you before, when Thai baht becomes stronger, everything that made in our country become more expensive, and it's confirmed that by the real exchange rate also going up, right? Real exchange rate going up is have the same meaning that everything in our country become more expensive. Okay, so that's so good. So we have 3 cases now. Next one, we're gonna have case number 4. Okay, for the case number 4, we will have only one graph. We will have only one graph for case number 4. Okay. This is real exchange rate. This is NCO and NX. We have NX. We have NCO, which is equal to S minus I, and X equal to X minus M. Let's say NX1, X1, M1, equilibrium point 1. This is like NX1 equal to NCO1. Real exchange rate, okay, epsilon 1. Okay, so what's so good? Okay, so this one is gonna be case number 4. It's gonna be the story about trade policy. Okay, trade policy on less strict import. Okay, it's gonna be the policy that try to reduce the import of the country. Okay, less strict is mean try to protect, okay, the product from the other country to reduce the import. Okay, one of the very famous case is gonna be the trade war. The trade war between USA and China. Okay, in the like many years ago, that they have the president named Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump tried to do all of the things, okay, to restrict the import from China. Okay. Okay. So this is a trade policy that try to stop the import from the other country. Okay. The starting point is E1. Okay, the starting point is at E1. So to be more understand, let me give you some number. Okay, for example, in X1 equal to X1 minus M1, maybe X1 equal to 200 millions. We export $200 million, we import $100 million. So we have trade surplus, net export equal to $100 million. This is NX1. Okay, so when they use the trade policy on restrict the import, okay, They try to reduce the import from some country. For example, USA try to reduce the import from China. Okay, if they're doing very well, okay, is NX is gonna be increasing from NX1 to NX2. Export still the same, but import changing from M1 to M2. Okay, they still exported 200 millions, but because of the trade policy on restrict import, right now they import less, 50. And then you can see that when you import less, even though you export the same, okay, net export become higher to 150. Okay, by using this policy, net export become increasing from 100 to 150. It means that NX curve gonna shift to the right from E1 to point A. Okay, like this. This is NX2 equal to X1 minus M2, okay, point A. NX increasing from NX1 to NX2. Okay, this is in the short run. Okay, this is only happen in the short run. However, point A, even though the net export become higher, but this one is only happen in the short run. How about in the long run? How it's gonna be? In the long run, I change to the green color. In the long run, point A is not the equilibrium point. Point A gonna be moving up to the new equilibrium point. Okay, point A gonna moving up to the new equilibrium point. Okay, here E2. Okay, when point A moving up, what does it mean? The real exchange rate gonna be starting going up from E1 to E2. Okay. When they're moving to the new equilibrium point, what does it mean? Okay, real exchange rate going up. It means that everything in our country start to become more expensive. Okay, when everything become more expensive, it means that we're gonna export less, right? So we're gonna have an X3. Okay, X2 minus M2. Import still the same, 50. But right now everything become more expensive. Export gonna be reducing, right? From 200 to 150. So you can see that NX going back to 100 again. Okay, so in the long run, it's actually not good because everything in your country is going to be start to become more expensive. So NX going to be going back to NX3, which is equal to NCO1 again, going back to the same point. Okay, so we can say that this policy is only have a benefit in only a short run. In the long run, it's actually useless. Okay, in long run, it's actually useless. Okay, because okay, in the short run, it's good. You import less, right? It's good for your trade balance, okay, and X increasing. But in the long run, everything in your country will become more expensive, and then NX reducing to the same number, to the original number again at 100. So it's useless in the long run. Okay, so this is the theory of the real exchange rate on the trade policy. Okay, of a less strict import. So also good. Okay. So then next one. Okay, after we learn about trade policy. Okay, we learn about the graph. So I'm gonna give you homework 5. Okay, homework 5. You just Google, okay, about the trade war between China and USA. Write down 2 pages in PDF. Okay, submit it here in the link. Okay, and the deadline I give you more than 1 week. Okay, because right now you already have a lot of homework. Okay, so the deadline is before midnight of the next Thursday night. Okay, next Thursday night. It's more than a week to do that. Okay, just easy. Google, do the research, write down in your language with your understanding. Okay, today gonna give you 2 homework. So next one. Okay, next one. We're gonna talk about the idea of PPP. Okay, the idea of PPP. PPP is come from purchasing power parity. Okay, purchasing power parity. So normally the idea is like, even though you stay in a different country, okay, everyone should have the same price. Okay, different country, okay, everyone should pay the same price. Okay, the same product on different countries should have the same price. Everyone around the world should pay the same price. Okay, if you pay the same price, if the price is no difference, it means that the real exchange rate should be equal to 1 always. Okay, when the domestic price and the foreign price is the same, it means that the real exchange rate should be always equal to 1. Okay, so the idea is very simple. The idea is very simple. Okay, so from the mathematical formula, the real exchange rate equal to P multiplied by E over P star. Okay, if we have the same price, if the purchasing power is the same, okay, it means that real exchange rate should be equal to 1. So it means that E, okay, E, nominal exchange rate should be equal to P star over P, okay, like this. Okay, so it means that, okay, from the equation, if real exchange rate equal to 1, if the price is the same, the nominal exchange rate should be adjusted. Okay, the nominal exchange rate should be adjusted. Okay, adjust changing themselves until the price, okay, of the foreign country and the price of domestic country is the same. Okay, this is a very simple idea. They say that the price should be the same in different countries. In order to do that, you need to change the nominal exchange rate. Okay, to be more understanding about this, I give you the other homework 6. Okay, I want you to Google on the Big Max index. Okay, try to read from the English, especially the Economist. This one is actually invented from the Economist. Okay, the economic magazine. Okay, the economic magazine. Read about Max Index, Big Mac Index, and how it's related to PPP, purchasing power parity. Okay, write out 2 page. Okay, submit it in the link, and the deadline is before midnight of the next Thursday night. Okay, so going more into the detail. They have many reasons that the price can be the same. Okay, they have many reasons that the price of product should be the same. Okay, PPP, purchasing power parity, the price is going to be the same, can be true. Okay, for example, it maybe come from the first factor that many companies using the policy names law of one price. Okay, many companies try to set the price to be the same. For example, like Nike, okay, Apple, okay, Starbucks, okay, many big companies try to set the price. Even though you buy Nike, Apple in Japan, in USA, in China, okay, they have the same price. Okay, same price. It's not exactly the same, but it's really close, let's say. Okay, this is what they try to do. We call it law of one price. Okay. The factor number 2 is some product, the price may not be the same. So they're going to have the activity called arbitrage. Okay. Arbitrage is about buying the product from the cheap country and sell it to the expensive country. Okay, I'm gonna give you more detail on this one on the next slide. Okay, and they also have some reason that PPP shouldn't be happen. Okay, no PPP. Okay, real exchange rate shouldn't be equal to 1. Okay, for example, the first reason is, the product between country. Okay, the product in one country may be more expensive to the other country because they have a transportation cost. Okay, If your country is far away from the production line, you should pay more expensive price because they have a transportation cost. Second one, okay, they may have a law, okay, law like tax and tariff, okay. I think tariff is right now like this. Let me check. Yes, that's right. Okay. Some country have a very high import tax. That's why the product in their country is very expensive. And number three, some product cannot be traded. Okay, non-traded goods. Okay, for example, in Thailand, like the product about Buddha, we cannot be traded. Okay, so it's become more expensive. Okay, or some illegal product. Okay, become more expensive. For example, for a drug, okay, drug is illegal, right? So that's why drug is very expensive. Okay, this is three reasons that purchasing power parity is difficult to happen. We have two reasons, okay, law of one price and arbitrage that PPP can be happen, and we have three more reasons that PPP really difficult to happen. Okay. Next one, I'm going to show you the graph about arbitrage. Okay, what is arbitrage? Okay, arbitrage. Let me showing you. Okay, on the right, on the left hand side. Okay, for example, is for Thailand. On the right hand side is Japan. Okay, I have Thailand and have Japan. Okay, focusing on, let's say this is a video games business. Okay, video game business like a PlayStation, Nintendo, something like that. And you know that Japan is a big producer of the video games. Okay, and we have two markets of the video games. We have the video games market in Thailand on the left. And of course, you're going to have price P, Q for quantity. This is for Thailand. I have T, okay. And then you have demand of video game in Thailand, DT. You have supply for the video game in Thailand, ST. Supply is about sale. Demand is about buying, right? You have equilibrium point in Thailand, ET1. The price of video game in Thailand is high, PT1. The quality of video game in Thailand is low, QT1. This is what you have. And then I have the video game market in Japan, QJ, PJ for the price in Japan, right? I have supply of video game in Japan. I have demand for video game in Japan. This is equilibrium point in Japan, EJ1. The price of video game in Japan cheaper than Thailand, QJ1. Okay. So what you can see here is when you have the difference in the price, for example, video game in Thailand is more expensive than video game in Japan, right? You see that? Okay. Because Japan is the country that produces a lot of video games. PlayStation come from Japan, Nintendo also come from Japan, right? So video games in Japan is cheaper than Thailand, okay? So when you have the gaps, okay, when you have the gaps of the difference in price like this, one country have a expensive product, the other country have a cheaper product. So what you can do from here is you can do the arbitrage. Arbitrage means you're going to buy, okay, the cheap product from one country and sell it to the expensive country. In this case, what you can do is you can actually fly into Japan and buying some video games, right? Especially when you have a very cheap air ticket, like a low-cost airline, like Air Asia, okay? Okay, what we can do is we can, okay, let me change to the blue color, okay? We can easily fly into Japan and buy more, okay? When you go into Japan and buy more, demand of video game in Japan will increasing. Right? Everyone going to Japan, buying video game, demand for video game in Japan increasing, equilibrium point going up. Okay. And then When you buy the video game in Japan, what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it back to Thailand and sell it in Thailand. When you sell video game in Thailand, supply of video game in Thailand gonna go into the right. Equilibrium point in Thailand become moving down to the right, ET1 to ET2 until the price. You can see that the price, you know, people buying more video game in Japan, the price of video game in Japan become more expensive, right? And they sell video game in Thailand. When they sell video game in Thailand, the price of video game in Thailand becomes cheaper, right? PT2, okay? So you see that in the end, the price is gonna be the same. This is what we call arbitrage, okay? The arbitrage can make the product between two countries to be the same in the ends, okay? This is why if you have the arbitrage, you're gonna have PPP, purchasing power parity. Okay, so far so good. Next one. Okay, if you have the property of PPP, purchasing power parity, real exchange rate always equal to 1, the graph is going to be changing a little bit. Okay, this is NX and NCO, real exchange rate. Okay, NCO is look like this. NCO come from S minus I. And NX is going to be a horizontal curve. This is NX equal to X minus M. Okay, because they have the horizontal curve because the real exchange rate always equal to 1. And the equilibrium point is going to be here, E1 and X1 equal to NCO1. Okay, so if you have purchasing power parity, if the price between different countries is the same, okay, NX curve going to be a vertical, a horizontal curve. Okay, this is what happened. Okay, so this all for today. Okay, all for today. We're gonna stop here. So today I give you 2 more homework. Okay, make sure that you doing the homework and don't copy from your friends, don't copy from the internet. Okay, and have fun with the homework. Homework can help you more understanding in the case of the real world. Okay, study only theory in the class is not enough. You need to learn from the real world also, right? That's why we have a homework. Any question for now? Okay, no question. We're gonna see each other again on Friday. Okay, bye-bye and take care.